Hello and welcome to another episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Man, I am so glad you're here with me today. This is the last Portrait Profit Show of the year 2022. So thank you for investing your time, spending your time here with me. I hope you had a fantastic Christmas yesterday. We did. We got to see family, quite a bit of family over the last 2 days, and we're going to leave as soon as this episode ends to go see some more. So, I hope you have been able to do the same, spend time with family, have a wonderful Christmas holiday season. And I'm so glad that you're here with me today. Now, before I go too far into this, I want to make sure that I tell you that I encourage your interaction. Sure, this is on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn, and so the interaction is limited to the comments section and hitting that like button, hitting that love button. And so I want to encourage that. And going across the screen right now is a message that's from StreamYard, which is the platform that we use to be able to simulcast this show to multiple different places. We're on 5 different Facebook pages, 2 different YouTube channels, and one LinkedIn page, all at the same time, all live right now. So it's quite possible that you're on with a couple other people. You may be on by yourself right now with somebody. But over the 9 channels that we're on, will accumulate to quite a few people who are watching right now. And in order for me to see you and know who you are, that's what that thing going across the bottom is. So click on streamyard.com/Facebook. Now, this is for the Facebook, those who are watching on Facebook. So click on StreamYard/Facebook if you haven't already. And what that does is it causes me to be able to see you, know that you're here. And when you make a comment, it'll show your name. By the way, if you want to remain anonymous, don't do what I just said. So I am so glad that you're here watching right now. And let me turn that off and um, put that on. There we go. And I've got a couple of things that I want to make sure that you're aware of. And before I do that, I want you to click I want you to enter in hashtag live in the comment section. That tells me that you're watching right now. So uh, if you're watching the replay, do me a favor and enter in hashtag replay. But if you're watching right now, enter hashtag live in the comments. That tells me that you're watching right now. And if, of course, you've done the facebook.com forward slash streamyard.com/Facebook, that it'll tell me who it is that is watching live. Otherwise, it says Facebook user to me. So uh, we're going to here pretty soon be plan. But even if you haven't, this is still valuable to you. It's still going to be of a benefit. You're still going to get a lot from it, and it may encourage you to spend the rest of the day, the rest of the week, making sure you have a plan in place and being extremely thrilled and excited about having a plan in place. Now, do me a favor and share this with others. So in the comment section right now, do me a favor and enter in someone who you think might be able to benefit from hearing the more about the business side of photography. Someone who is growing or wants to start a business, or maybe they're struggling, or maybe they've been doing this for a long time. They just need a refresher. Let them know about it. And also just click that share button. So in Facebook, you have that original post, and underneath it you have like, you have comment, and you have share. Click on share. Let other people know that this is happening right now. So thank you for doing that. I might remind you about that later. Uh, but again, today we're going to be talking about the last minute review. Talk about planning, to talk about what we're going to be doing, what's coming, because this for us creatives, us we photographers are we're excited about this kind of thing. We are excited about the future. We have hope for the future. We're seeing good things potentially in our future. With a plan, we help to make sure that the efforts that we make are in the direction of the things that we want to happen. So therefore, of course, we have to define those things that are going to happen. And so we'll be talking about that today. uh, well, Robert, StreamYard is just how we uh, send this show to multiple different platforms. So you're not going to a different place. You're watching it here. But StreamYard is the platform we use to be able to send it to multiple places. And since I'm seeing your name, that tells me that you already did it. So thank you. um, let's see. Andres, you're here. Good. Glad to see you. Robin, good. So again, if you're watching live, enter in hashtag live. That tells me that you're watching live. I'll know that you're watching right now because you've put that in there. Now, I want to invite you to something. So every week, I take a photographer to lunch with me, with the exception of tomorrow, because I'll be out of town. But every week, I take a photographer to lunch with me, and let me put the address up. And I'll put it on the screen too, but just so you don't have to type that in, that is right now showing up on in your feed, in the news feed, and it will show the link to Landers to my calendar where you can sign up for Lunch with Landers. Lunch with Landers is just we sit down and we visit. Now, if it often happens on Tuesday, the reason I do it on Tuesdays is because I'm already going out for lunch at the Dominion Country Club because my Rotary Club meets there, and so if my Rotary Club is meeting, then we get to hear a speaker, and that's a cool bonus that you get if that's happening. You get to hear a speaker, and then we talk, we visit, and we eat during while that the speaker is doing their thing. And if there's not a speaker, then it's just you and I sitting at a table talking about you and your goals for the future. But sign up for that using that link. I also do a free business assessment consultation, and this is one per year. Take that off the screen and put this one on. And we do that one time per year. I'll put that in the comments as well. So you can take advantage of this. Now, I won't be doing this forever because it does kind of fill my schedule. And if I get too many of them, I'll probably stop doing it. But it still exists right now. Take advantage of it. It's this. My schedule goes out for the next 60 days, and so you can schedule any time between now and then. And it's just to talk about you. It's done via Zoom or it could be done via phone call. But you and I just talk about you, your goals, what you're trying to accomplish, your price list, whatever it is that you feel like you want to talk about at this point in time. So that's the business assessment consultation. It's 30 minutes, free private session. Just take advantage of that by clicking that link in the comment section right now. All right, take that one off of there and take the picture off. All right, so this show, in fact, for those of you who don't know, my name is Jim Landers, and my mission is simple. I help portrait photographers like you make a great income doing what they love. Each week on the Portrait Profit Show, you're going to get tips and systems on the business side of photography designed to help you gain a mastery over marketing and sales so you can get what you finally deserve. You're in the right place. Welcome to the Portrait Profit Show. The Portrait Profit Show is brought to you by Digital Pro Lab and, of course, Landers Photography School. Amanda at Digital Pro Lab is of course very busy this time of year leading up to Christmas yesterday, and so she is not here with us today, but she normally is here with us. But she's here in spirit, and Amanda and I hope that you have a plan for 2023. But if not, I guess the phrase "it's never too late" applies. But it's getting really close to being too late. But don't worry. we're going to go over some of the most important considerations for making 2023 your best year ever. So get out your pen, get out your notepad, and keep up, or at least attempt to. All right. So let me move something over to the side. There we go. And I'm going to put up on the bottom of the screen what I'm talking about at this moment. So these next things I'm going over are the 4 parts of preparation for your 2023 plan, actually for any type of planning. So the first one is based on philosophy or mindset. And I want to make sure that we're on the same page. Why should I make a plan? Because not everybody agrees that it's a good idea. I think that's really odd, but I have absolutely come across people who say that it's not a good idea. I've heard them say, "I don't need a plan because I don't do this as a serious business." Now, they may not add that part onto it, but, there may be some reason. So, I've heard people say, "I don't need a plan. I don't do this as a serious business," or some other I call excuse designed, excuse me, disguised as what they call a reason. Are you kidding me? If you do something as simple as a road trip, don't you plan where you're going? Does that planning make you a serious road tripper? Come on. If you'll plan for a road trip, then you don't have to be a serious business to plan for your business. So planning does not make you a serious road tripper. It's just what you do with something that's happening in the future. It doesn't matter whether you're a full-time road tripper or a one-time road tripper. You plan the road trip. Stop it with the excuses that you call reasons and commit to making a plan. That's what today is all about. By the way, I'm hoping that saying this and making this analogy about a road trip and how you plan it and how these excuses of why you're not planning your business, I hope this resonates with you. If this opens your eyes, if you're seeing it from a different perspective than you have before, do me a favor, tell me in the comments. Let me know that this makes sense. Tell me in some way that what I'm saying so far, and I have a lot more to share, is making sense. If this resonates with you, share with me. Say something like, "I plan," in the comments, or "This makes sense," or whatever, something that tells me that you're here with me, that you're paying attention, that this makes sense to you. All right, second thing, the focus of your planning. There's 3 main things that we're focusing on. Your passions, what brings you joy, what brings you peace, and potentially, hopefully, an endless supply of positive energy. Your motivation, who or what is it that pushes you to continue even when you have significant reasons to quit or slow down? And the third, target market, your clients. What kind of person do you work best with? You know who you work well with. You also know who drains you. Knowing those boundaries, knowing the boundary of who you don't like working with helps you better define who you do like working with because those qualities of the people who drain you, you try to avoid. Fantastic. Because you know that. You're a creative, you're a sole business owner. You can target whatever you want. You don't have to be the person that says yes to everything and everyone. Just because someone has dollars does not mean your answer is yes. Now, some people would have a different perspective there. And I used to have a different perspective there. But I think we all evolve and change, not necessarily the same way that I have, but I believe that focusing in on something makes it a whole lot easier to plan. And you're going to hear why later in this presentation. Who do you enjoy investing your valuable time with? Define that person. That's your focus. Now, the next thing I want us to think about is defining who you are. Who are you? What's what do you value? What do you want out of this life? If you had no restrictions like money, time, other people's opinions, what would your ideal realistic life look like? Define you. And number 4 of the 4 things I want you to think about as you're planning, I want you to review your 5 statements. Now, if this is the first time you're watching, you don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go over those briefly. If you've been watching the show all along, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your mission statement, your value statement, your vision statement, your target market, and your positioning statement. I want you to listen to this. These 5 statements, this is the foundation of your life and your business. It points you to what it is that you want, what it is that you value, what you see in yourself, what you see for yourself in the future, who you're going there with, what your place is in the market, and what the best set of tools are that are necessary to get you and keep you on the right path. That causes you to laser focus on your destinations, the places you're going. And it causes you not to wander. You guys who've been watching, you know this. This next thing I'm about to say. I don't believe that success has anything to do with knowing the difference between good and bad. I think you could do all good things and still be a failure in business. You have to do the right things. It's like going to a tool store. All the tools in the tool store are good, but are they the right tools to help you do what you want to do? In other words, you've got to define what you want to build or repair before you go to Home Depot or Lowe's so that you get the tools that are right to help you with your end result goal. How's life any different? It isn't. We have to define who it is that we are, what it is that we want, so that we can get the right set of tools to help us get on and stay on the right path. Does that make sense, guys? If it does, tell me in the comments. Let me know. Just say yes or thank you. Whatever is appropriate, whatever you feel, tell me in the comments. Does this make sense? Yes, this makes sense. Or no, it doesn't. You're crazy, Jim. Whatever. But tell me in the comments. This is interactive. I know you don't get to talk because the type of platform we're on is just me talking. But you can interact all you want in the comments. Tell me. And also share this with others. Don't keep a good thing to yourself. By the way, I know you think this is a good thing, or you wouldn't be on. You would have already clicked onto something else. So let others know about this good thing that you have found. Share the show with others. All right, now let's get into the planning. I guess I should check comments before I get too far into that. Hey, Stacia. Another Robin. Melissa. Hey, Melissa. I'm glad you're here. I like that comment. Yeah, I agree, Andres. Totally agree. All right. So planning. Bring that back up on the screen. First thing I want you to do is just make a list. Don't do anything with this list just yet. Just make this list of the things that you already know that are going to happen in the year 2023. Just make a list of the things you already know. Now, what things do you already know? Well, birthdays, anniversaries, weddings, different events that you participate in annually, different clubs that you're in, the meetings. So, like if you're in, I know not everybody watching is from San Antonio, Texas. I'm in San Antonio, Texas, and we have I don't know 20, 30 different photography groups and clubs here. But one of them myself and my wife organize and put together called Photo SA, and we have regular meetings. And so that's going to go on my calendar because I know when those are going to happen. I also know some of the other things, events that we do for that club and for others, those go on the calendar so that you can see the things that are already there. Now, I like to do this. I like to recommend you do this on a physical calendar, something that you can see right here in front of you. At a glance makes a huge one. There's probably others too, but I like seeing the whole year like huge right here in front of me. List the things you already know. Now, this could include doctor's appointments, eye exams, dental appointments, those kind of things. Include things like family nights and date nights on this, weekly lunch with another photographer. I'm not the only one that has to do that. You can do it too. So anything that you already know, put it on the calendar, or make a list of these things. The next thing is a list also, but list what you would like to do throughout the year. List what accomplishments you want to have and things you want to do, things you want to be able to check off the list. I call these sometimes destinations. What destinations are you going to have throughout the year? And once you know where you're going, then and only then does this make sense to begin planning a path to get to where you're going. Otherwise, again, you're wandering and you can spend an entire career wandering. And a lot of photographers do just that. Now, they wouldn't describe it as that because to them that's their norm. And wandering doesn't sound like the thing they want to do with their business. So they don't know it. I want you to write out these goals. Make sure that your goals are, as you know, how goals are supposed to be clear, specific, measurable. It cannot be, I want to make more money than last year. That's none of those things. Sure, it's true. We all would like to bring in more income than we did last year. We'd like to have more clients than we had last year. So increase business. Of course we want that. But these aren't clear. These aren't measurable. They're not specific. You have to be specific with your goals. And that's just financial goals and number of clients goals. You've got a ton of other things that you want to accomplish in the next year. Some of them have nothing to do with your business. They get to be included because they take up your time and possibly your money. So, of course, they have to be part of your plan. It's not just business that we're planning here, it's life. Your goals must be specific, they must be measurable, and they must exist because it's the same thing as a road trip. You've defined that you're going to some place. Therefore, you know what roads to take. You know how long it's going to take you. You know if it requires an overnight stay, and if it does, you know that you have to bring more clothes with you, and an overnight bag that toothbrush and stuff. But it's only because you defined your destination that you know you need those things. No wandering. Define what it is you want. Is this making sense, guys? Tell me yes in the comments. Tell me. Let me know. You watching? You paying attention? Cool. Now, the next thing I want you to do is evaluate last year's plan. I know not everybody had a plan last year that they can evaluate. I get it. But I still want you to pay attention even if you're in that category because it makes you're going to have a plan for 2023. So therefore in 2024 you need to have something to look back at. So you still want to pay attention to this section, and it's short anyway. Hopefully you've tracked your efforts, but if not, maybe you're just starting out or maybe you just skipped it. But don't skip this. Pay attention to this. Hear this so that you can include it into your 2023 plan. Throughout the year, after each marketing effort, I want you to evaluate that marketing effort and do it as soon as you can so that it is fresh on your mind, so that you haven't had the opportunity to forget anything. Plan the evaluation into your schedule. Now, it makes sense to plan marketing into your schedule. You've got a date that you're doing something on, And if it's something that you need to market, let's say it's a mini session, let's just throw that out there. You don't just have a mini session. There's something that has to happen before that. You've got to create the marketing materials. You've got to set pricing. You've got to define how much time and what things someone gets as a result of working with you, and what that costs, and any other variables that need to be in there. So you've got emails that go out. You've got a landing page to create. You've got some Facebook and Instagram ads or at least posts to do. These take time. They need to be on your calendar. They need to be part of your schedule. But in addition to that, the evaluation of that effort has to be on your calendar for after the event. Make it part of your regular plan. That way you keep getting better every time. You think just doing it causes you to get better, and it does. But if you evaluate what you do, then you have a laser focus to where you're going. Let me know if that makes sense. If this resonating with you, if anything I'm saying resonates with you, click that like button. Click that love button. I love the love button. Say yes in the comments. Say thank you in the comments. Let me know that I'm not talking to myself. Evaluating your marketing efforts is essential for having a successful business. I'm not making this as a suggestion. I'm telling you, you must. You do that with regular evaluations, making sure all your campaigns are working as intended and that they have the desired response that you're hoping for from your target market, your target audience. If you're getting people who aren't part of your target audience, this needs to be part of the evaluation. How am I getting those people? And do I want them? How do I avoid them possibly? Or how do I get more of them? We have to evaluate that. When things don't go as intended, evaluate, figure out what the reason could be. A lot of times it's obvious if we'll sit and look at it. Discover a new way to reach your goals. And instead of investing time and money into campaigns that aren't effective, by the way, if you don't evaluate, you don't know what's effective and what isn't. You think you do. In fact, you thoroughly believe and would even argue that you do. But if you do not do a solid evaluation of the efforts that you've made, you don't know anywhere near what you should know, no matter how confident you thought you were. This is a guide for you for your future marketing decisions. Now, it's time for a little coffee. Mm. Cinnamon Dolce, Starbucks brand. Pretty good. Mm. So, how do you reach your income goals? First of all, we have to define what our income goal is. So, you know what? Before we do that, before we define what our income goals are, I want you to define what your product is or products. So, what are your products? What types of photography services and products are you going to be doing, or are you maybe already doing? And this isn't something that you say everything. I can press the button in front of everything, but that doesn't make you really good, and it doesn't mean that you like everything. You do the things that you enjoy, the things that you're going to do just no matter what gets in the way, no matter what roadblocks happen, you still do them because you love them. Or you choose something that causes you to love them, like an increased price. So there's that too, but that's aside. That's for a different. That's something another different subject for someone independently, not as a group, a general like generally speaking, like I am now. But choose maybe one, two, or three different things that you're going to spend time marketing and in increasing the business of. One is best, but there's times when there's two or three things. Like maybe it's families, children, weddings. Maybe it's high school seniors. Whatever it is, you don't need a large number here, you need a small number here because you thin yourself out otherwise. You won't have time to do the marketing for 100 different things that you have the ability to press the shutter button in front of. But you have time to do marketing for 1, 2, or 3. 1 especially. You have time to evaluate that plan, evaluate the results. So choose a small number. Now, include the type, include the details, how you're going to sell it, whether these are regular sessions, mini sessions, what products you're going to sell with them, digital, prints. Obviously, I recommend prints because everybody can do digitals. What's going to cause you to be able to stand out? Prints. Now, it depends on what kind of work you do because there's a lot of end results that need digitals as an end result. So if you do headshots for people's LinkedIn page so they can have a new profile image, you need digital files for that. That's the appropriate end result. Same thing with a lot of commercial stuff. Let's say you're a real estate photographer. Digital files is the appropriate thing. But this show is for portrait photographers, and so I'm clearly talking about those who do portraits in this show. Now, my as far as my business, I do move out a little bit into other things, but I still specialize just in the portrait side. And so on the portrait side, I absolutely recommend prints, and one of the major reasons is because if you're not doing something more than what the neighbor could have done, because the neighbor can come over and do your family portrait in someone's backyard and give that person digital files. If you're not doing more than what the neighbor could do, I'm asking you, are you seriously a pro or a glorified neighbor? I'm going to recommend that you take your photography business seriously and do more than what the neighbor could have done. Otherwise, stop calling yourself a pro. Call yourself a hack. I know that's harsh. Oh, man. Hey, you got to stand for something or you'll fall for anything, right? That's the cliche, that's the line. I believe that as a professional portrait photographer, that if prints aren't part of your product offering, that you have some room to grow. Let's leave it like that. But what are we going to do? And what type of system are we going to use to share this? Obviously, I prefer the in-person sales, but that's not always possible, and it's not always preferable for the type of client that you're working with. If you're photographing events, then shoot and burn might be the way to go. A family portrait, shoot and burn, yeah, there's a lot of photographers that do that, but again, the neighbor could have done that. Maybe one step up above that is the post and pray, where you create images, you put them online, and you cross your fingers, you pray that they buy some prints from you or something off the e-commerce page that you've built. All right. That's a step above what the neighbor could have done. So that fits my category, and it's the right thing. It's the right choice in some instances. It's especially if someone comes in from out of town and wants to do a family portrait. They probably aren't here long enough for you to do a presentation. If they are, then do a presentation. But if they're not, then posting and praying is the right way to go. All three of these, the shoot and burn, the post and pray, and the in-person sales, are all tools that should be part of what you have. You just use them, pull out the correct tool, the right tool for the job that you're doing. But for the most part, it is in-person sales because they don't do this as a full-time job. They don't know as much as you do. Hopefully, if you know the same amount that they do, well, you have some room to grow. In-person sales is definitely the way to go. Even there's a cool side effect. You wind up making more money doing it. But that's not the main reason you're doing it, because you do it because you love your clients and you want what's best for them. And having a photograph up on the wall for them to enjoy and cry tears of joy every day. That's what I want my clients to experience. What do you want for yours? Now that we've defined what it is that we want, who we want to do it for, now I want you to think about the numbers. Define the numbers. What do you want to make this year, 2023? How much money do you want to bring in? Consider your expenses, consider your taxes, because you have them and you don't get to keep them. Include that into the overall gross number. And then, of course, take your expenses and taxes out, but this is for later. For right now, what is the overall gross amount of income that you're going to need to make that includes all your stuff? What is the amount you're gonna have to bring in from your clients in order to cover you, the biggest expense, your expenses, and your taxes? What is that number? It's different for everyone. And if you'd like for me to spend some more time with it, then next week I will. 1 week from today, I'll just give you a little teaser. The subject that we're going to be tackling is price list. How do we make the perfect price list? Now, a perfect price list means it's something that makes sense to you. It's something that you can share with your clients, and it is a tool to help you reach your income goals so that you can make enough money for you, whatever your ideal life looks like, cover your expenses and your taxes. So that's what it will include. And so that's next week. That's and I'll bring this slide back up here in a little bit. But perfect price list. That's January 2nd, the first one of 2023. All right. So define your numbers. If you've got 3 different things that you do, then how much money do you want to make in each one of those? And if you're doing family portraits, if you're doing high school seniors, if you're doing weddings, how much money do you need to make in each one of those categories in order to reach your total income goal? We'll spend a lot more time with this next week so that this makes a lot more sense, but that's where this is coming from. So what is your average sale going to be in each one of the things that you do? If it's just one, then there's only one thing there. But if you've got 2 or 3, well, then you'll need to do this. And then what is the total for each type? Again, I'm gonna spend a ton of time with this, the entire hour, next week on Monday. So let's start populating that calendar. Let me put that up on the screen. Populate your calendar. Now, this has everything in it, your personal side and your business side. And so let's talk about the personal side first. Uh, Using the list that you created on your calendar, mark off the time that you don't intend to work, whatever that is. Vacation, mark it off right now. Don't hope that there's time to have a vacation. Put it on the freaking schedule. That way you're motivated, you're pushed to make it happen. You don't cross your fingers and hope, man, I hope I have time this year to take a vacation or to visit family or to do this road trip or to fly out to. Come on, guys. You don't hope it into existence. You plan it into existence. Your family time, your free time, plan some free time. Dentist appointments, optometrist appointments. Maybe you get a weekly massage. Whatever it is, put it on your calendar. Whatever it is you do, plan it now. Now, that's the personal side. Birthdays, anniversaries, date nights, whatever. Put it on your calendar. And then the business side. Break it down by the product, by the project, including personal projects. I recommend photographers that you have personal projects, things that you do for you. Now, I'm not saying don't monetize them. I think in many instances you probably should, and you'll probably want to, but have something that is just for you, and it could be part of your marketing plan. In fact, when I teach it, I recommend it as part of your marketing plan. What charity projects you want to be participating in. You can break it down by the marketing effort. How long does it take to create the material, and how long does it take to get the word out in all the different ways that you do that? Write out the title and description for each product that you're going to be promoting. Make sure you're clear on that. Write out the steps, the procedures that you're going to have to go through for each promotion or each project. Write out the steps or procedures of each marketing promotion. What are the things that you're going to have to do in order to do the marketing? Place these steps each piece on the calendar. These are your deadlines. When do I want to begin? When do I want to end? When do I have to have this done by? And if you I recommend automating, add in if you're doing this on, say, Google Calendar, a program of some sort, put in reminders because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of variables, and these reminders are gonna help you. Automate everything that you can. Automation is huge. It sure makes things a lot easier, and we can't always rely on our memory. Alright, now during the year, there's a handful of things, 4 things. I've listed 3 here, but there's a total of 4 things I want you to pay a good amount of attention to. First is track, measure the results of your efforts. Track or measure the results of your efforts. You heard me say this before. I'm gonna continue to say it because most of us don't. We kinda nod when that's said by me or anyone. Yeah, yeah, that's important. Track and measure the results of your of course, yeah, and then we don't do it. Okay. Number 2, tweak your plan as you go, as necessary. Do not overdo this, though. You can spend huge amounts of time making adjustments. That's not why I'm saying tweak as you go. I'm saying because it's fresh on your mind. So make sure to make those little tweaks, those quick things, or make a note to do something that takes a little bit longer that you can plan for later. The third one is you begin your 2024 plan as you begin to implement your 2023 plan. Because right now it's fresh on your mind. What things will you change next year to make it better? You can't fix what already happened for this year, and I'm thinking this year is 2023. You can't fix what you already did, but you can fix it for next year. You can improve it for next year. You can tweak it for next year. You will notice areas, of course, where you can improve. So do those little tweaks. Make those notes right now so that next year runs smoother. You get more business. Next year is going to be even better than this one you're planning for, 2023. And then schedule planning time. That's you don't see it on your screen right now, but this is the 4th one. Schedule planning time. On your calendar, put some planning time on your calendar. I in May of each year, I want you to have a serious either personal meeting with yourself or your group, your team, if you have one. For a lot of photographers, it's just you. So, but have plan a meeting in May of each year that is for the purpose of planning next year. So in May of 2023, there should be a meeting on your calendar for you to get serious about planning 2024. You may think, well, that's really early. Gosh, guys, no, it's not. Pretty quickly after you start implementing these things, you'll start planning 5 years out, 10 years out, and beyond. But we can't start off with that. We don't know enough at first when we begin to be able to really do that effectively. But once you start putting these things into place, man, it starts getting clear. And you start realizing, I am so grateful I've done this. This makes all the difference. Whereas before you couldn't have possibly have known it. In May of each year, set aside some time, all day, 2 days, a week, whatever's appropriate for you. Set aside some time to plan the next year. And then you don't have to finalize it right away. Maybe give yourself to the end of the summer. But plan to finalize it. Have a final planning meeting sometime during the summer, end of the summer, September. So by September, make sure that your 2024 plan is set. That doesn't mean it can't be tweaked. It's going to be because of the things that happen in the year 2023. After you finalize your 2024, you're like, let's say you do Santa pictures. There's gonna be something you learn that you can improve for the next year. So therefore, you're going to amend the 2024 plan at that time. So part of your 2023 plan is to plan the 2024 plan. I hope this is making sense. I hope that you can see the value of this. By the way, if you can see the value, tell me. Hit that like button. Hit that love button. Tell me in the comments. If you're appreciating what I'm doing here, say thank you. By the way, those of you who say thank you at the end, I take some of those thank you messages and I put them up on the screen as I close out the show. And so if I don't have any of those, well, then I don't have any. But usually there's a whole bunch of them. And so if you contribute a thank you message, an appreciation message, then I include that at the very end of the show. So of course I want to encourage that. And let me see if I've got any comments that I should have been paying attention to. Let's see. Hey, Mike, glad you're here. Tony, Alyssa. Good to see you guys. Mm. All right. So, uh, cool. Yeah. 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 I believe that, Tony. Because, well, I experienced that too. Yep. That was unusual, to say the least. Good. Glad to hear that, Stacia. Let's see. Oh, that's the one I meant to click. Good. I want to hear that. And excited about next week? Good. Glad to hear that. Nice. Uh-huh. Oh, what was this one? It's a, if so Mike is saying if successful year occurs, do I try something different or go with what you know? Um, because there's a variable that I have to know here. And so, assuming that what you're doing is causing you to reach your life goals, the things you want out of this life, if the things you're doing are causing that to happen, then we leave them alone. We're not changing them. We're perfecting it till we get to that point. And there's really no perfection. There's nothing that's really perfect, but the things that are going well, that are it's kind of like all the roads that lead from where you are, they're all good roads. So I'm in San Antonio, Texas. So I-10 heading east, I-10 heading west, 35 heading north, 35 heading south, and all the other smaller roads. They're all good roads. If they are a road that takes me to the destination or destinations that I want, then why would I change it? That's my philosophy. If it's taking me where I want to go, then perfect. But what if I choose something that's slightly different? Maybe I add a destination that's slightly off path. Well, then yes, I would change it so that I could make that new destination happen. So that would be a reason why I would change it. So hopefully that answers your question, Mike, and thank you for asking it. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Uh, that's a good point. I'm glad you're bringing that up, because when you're beginning, or if you've never really done the planning, you're in the beginning stages of your planning, even if you've done this 5, 10, 15 years. Definitely there are photographers that have been in business for 20 plus years who have been wandering the entire time. Again, they may not be admitting that or even seeing that in themselves, but that doesn't mean they're not doing it. It means if they're wandering, they're going over every single road that looks good. They're taking that path because it looks good. They're taking that road because it looks good. They're taking that road because it looks like it's going to take them to a pretty sunset or a view or a hill that they can get on top of or flowers that they could photograph. Wandering. Again, that's just analogy, but wandering. They're all good roads. In the tool store, they're all good tools, but they aren't all going to help you build or rebuild what it is you're trying to accomplish. So when you're beginning and it's when you're just beginning or when you are beginning to plan, it's in the same category, same thing. You're definitely narrowing down because you don't have time for everything. We just don't. Besides, we don't like everything equally. There's some things that stand out. So therefore, we want to lean in those directions. And so thank you for adding that. Thank you. I appreciate these comments. And uh, okay, that's enough for those for now. Let's bring this lesson today to a close before I go into what's coming. Too many photographers, wonderful, amazing creatives that we are, too many of us fail to plan. Now, that doesn't mean that we never plan. It doesn't mean that at all. It means we aren't planning for the long term. What do we want out of this life? What is the ideal, realistic version of us? That is your true destination. And the path that you take has to get you there. Because if you're taking another good path, but it doesn't take you to the destination you want, then it doesn't matter how good that other path is, if it's not the right path. Even though we wonderful creatives are aware of the benefits of defining who we are and planning a path to get there, many of us don't. Maybe some of us feel it's tedious. Maybe it's difficult. Maybe we feel like, well, no matter what, things change. And so we shouldn't. I mean, that would be like saying, if you went up to a home builder saying, "Do you have you ever had plans change from the plans that were created?" And he's like, "Have we ever not had plans change? There's not been a single time when they've had to make deviations from a plan." Does that mean, well, why bother planning? That makes zero sense, guys. Just because there are deviations from a plan does not mean you shouldn't plan. That's crazy talk. That's only a creative would come up with something as crazy as that. And we come up with some doozies, don't we? Maybe it's that we just don't know how to stick to a plan because that's difficult too. But please understand this. Planning is essential for reaching your dreams. In fact, I'd say if you're not going to plan, w- consider getting a job where it has a regular paycheck. At least that way you don't have to worry about that part of it. But come on, if you're going to plan for something as simple as a road trip, and it feels right to plan the road trip, then isn't your life infinitely more important to plan than that road trip? Of course. Breaking down your dreams and goals into smaller steps allows you to stay on track and keeps you from being overwhelmed. It encourages smart decision making so that each move counts towards achieving what you've set out to do. A well planned strategy helps maximize motivation by breaking it down into manageable parts, helping you reach even the most ambitious goals. Do your planning now. Define a path towards your version of success. Put in the honest effort to plan your year, and 2023 will be your best year yet. All right. So that is the lesson. That is the presentation I have for you. Now I want to share with you what is coming. So as you know, Portrait Profits is every single week on Monday. And we don't skip holidays. We don't no, it's every single Monday at noon, with the exception of the second Tuesday of each month, where we move it to the evening and we bring in other photographers or other people to be on a panel, and I ask them questions so that you can hear points of view other than mine. You can hear it's kind of like if you're looking at a statue, you're walking around it, you're getting above it, you're getting below it. You're seeing it from lots of different points of view, making you better informed, and you can hear things that you may not have even heard before, never even crossed your mind before. So on the second Monday of each month, we do move that to 6:30 in the evening, but that's just the second Monday. Every other Monday is at noon, and so uh, the very I'll take that off for a second. The very first one of 2023 is going to be the perfect price list. Perfect price list. Again, that is on, I put that up on the screen, January 2nd, 2023. Put that on your calendar. We're talking about planning. Portrait Profit shows every single Monday at noon. So I'm thinking that should be on your calendar so that you're available for it. So that one's coming up. Perfect price list for portrait photographers. We're going to go into some detail on what makes a price list perfect. And some of you are very well aware of this. Some of you are hesitant to this, and some of you don't know this at all. But a price list for a portrait photographer has nothing. I want to make sure I'm using that word very cleanly, very clearly. Nothing to do with what other photographers charge. Nothing. Has nothing to do with what other people do, because your goals are different. Your destinations are different. Your destinations take more or less time. They cost more or less money. And the path you take must cause you to reach your goals. Part of that path, part of the tools that you use to reach your life goals is your prices. It's one of the many tools you use. So therefore, your prices have to make it where you have the ability to reach your goals. We're going to be talking about that, how to incorporate that, how it's essential to incorporate that into your pricing. Now, there are some things where it doesn't apply, but for portrait photographers, it has nothing to do with what other photographers charge. For certain types of photography, it does play a huge role. Huge. School photography, sports photography, there's several that it plays a huge role. Certain types of commercial photography, but not in creative and art photography. It just doesn't. Yay. We don't need to consider what other people are charging. We have to consider, what will it take to reach my goals? And that's it. Take the path that leads you to your goals. How is this something that's even arguable? But it is. I get resistance every day. Come to this next class to realize why I feel the way I do. It's going to make sense to you. You're going to be a believer in that philosophy that I'm going to be sharing. And I'll be sharing how to do it, how you can actually come up with your own figures, your own numbers to build the perfect price list. Now, it's a general class, so I'm not going to be necessarily telling you how much your 8x10 should be, but I'm definitely going to be telling you how to come up with the price for it. Put this on your calendar, and I hope to see you on the next episode of the Portrait Profit Show. Again, I want to remind you that to schedule a business assessment consultation, and let me put that on the calendar or on the comments once again. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to copy and paste. So that's there, but I'm also going to put it in the comment section. Paste that. All right. So in the comment section right now, you should see the link to that. So you don't have to type this out. But that takes you to my calendar so that you can find a time to have a private consultation with me to talk about what's important to you. This could be your price list. This could be your marketing. This could be reaching personal goals or defining personal goals, business goals, whatever it is, as long as it has something to do with you reaching your life goals, your destination, your photography business as a tool to help you get there. That's what this is for. That's what this is all about. And I want you to take advantage of that. All right, take that back off the screen. Yeah. All right. So I'm so glad you guys joined me today. I see that there's some new faces here today, and I see some of you have been here many times. I appreciate each and every one of you. I think that your being here benefits you. I think it causes you to grow, become better at what you do, better for your clients, better for you, better for your loved ones. But there's a side effect. People are watching you. Photographers are watching you. They're seeing what you're doing. They're seeing what works, and they're incorporating some of those things. So therefore, in helping yourself out to become better at what you do, you're uplifting by default the photographer community. And that's exactly what I want to happen. So thank you for investing your time here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for helping the photographer community, helping us all become better. Good. All right. So this is the last episode of the Portrait Profit Show for the year 2022. What a year it's been. It's been fantastic. It's been fun. Ups and downs, of course, just like all of them. 2023, man, it is going to be the best that you've ever had, as long as you plan. And I can help you make that happen. And so for Landers Photography School and Digital Pro Lab, this is Jim Landers bringing you the weekly Portrait Profit Show, giving you evolving content, awareness, and even fun to the business side of photography through helpful information, step-by-step processes, and action steps that will help you with the struggles you deal with now, so you are constantly realigned to the path that leads to the success you deserve. Be here every Monday to experience a different way of looking at the business side of photography. And thank you for investing your time here at the Portrait Profit Show. Thank you, guys. Bye for now.